Developer bailout is causing quite a stir here in the Vancouver real estate market. Many home buyers were sitting on the sidelines and probably in a few Reddit threads and munching on the popcorn while watching the home builders struggle to sell their inventory. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Remember when you were growing up and your dad told you that if you made bad decisions, you have to deal with the consequences yourself? Well, apparently the rule doesn't apply if you build 4,400 condos that nobody wants to buy. Let's repeat that. 4,400 condos. That's not a rounding error, that's a small town. A very expensive, very empty small town. Because right now, the government is about to spend $1.45 billion of our tax dollars buying up half of those unsold condos right here in the Lower Mainland. Every video I've seen about it is someone either yelling about politics or explaining nothing. So let me do the boring, useful thing that nobody wants to do and tell you what it actually means if you're trying to buy or sell a home this year. By the end of this, I'll show you the one number that tells you whether this is a bailout or a smart move. And it's not the $1.45 billion everyone's talking about. Are you ready? Let's go. Hi, my name is Simon Liu, and I am your friend in real estate here in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. I've helped people make smart real estate moves across Greater Vancouver for nearly 20 years. If you're thinking about making a move, my team and I would love to help. I invite you to send a message using the information below. Alright, so stay tuned as we break down what this means for the Vancouver housing market in 2026. Consider this your no-nonsense market update. But first, let me tell you what all this commotion is all about. If you've been off the grid, no phone, no Reddit, living your best Ready Player One life lugged into something more fun than the Canadian housing policy life, here's the plain English version. The federal government, together with BC&DP, has put together a plan to spend $1.45 billion to buy 2,200 plus unsold condo units across the region and convert them into affordable housing. Both BC and Ottawa will put up roughly $145 million each, with the remaining of the funds coming from financing. Why now? Well, developers built a lot of pre-sale towers during the cheap money years, and now those units are built, but they aren't selling. Money was literally being printed, and everyone and their grandmothers went out and got a loan. And then the rates went up, buyers vanished, and suddenly there are brand new homes sitting across the Metro Vancouver condo market, and the government looked at these empty units and says, you know what? Why build modular housing like we promised when we can use tax dollars and help our friends out at the same time? Let's take them, all of them. Oh, presale. You get a condo. You get a condo. You get a condo. We all get a condo, which sounds generous until you ask at what price and with whose money. Does this mean that I think there is some malicious intent on part of the government? We'll keep watching and find out. First, let's talk about why this whole thing smells like a bailout. The argument being made is that a developer builds units nobody wants. That's their bad bet. But when the government swoops in and buys the inventory, the developer gets made whole on a losing project. Critics, including the federal opposition and the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, are calling it exactly that, a developer bailout with your tax dollars. As Pierre Poilievre puts it, Mr. Carney says he wants an innovative financial solution to make inexpensive empty condos into affordable occupied ones. I have that innovative solution. Let the prices drop. Now, Maxime Bernier of the People's Party of Canada echoes these sentiments. These developers are not stuck. They can drop their price further and sell their units themselves, but they won't. So basically, this is the housing version of the guy who orders the most expensive thing on the menu, realizes he forgot his wallet, and now you're stuck picking up the tab. Sorry, let me hold the door for you. Now, before I lose you in politics, because honestly, that is the least important part of this. If you're finding this helpful, do me a small favor and hit the subscribe button. It genuinely helps us help more people cut through this noise. Okay, now I'm going to do the math that nobody in this debate has actually done. And the answer even surprised me. Is this really a bad thing that the government decided to splurge on some vacant homes? I mean, those 2,200 homes become below market housing that would have otherwise been sitting empty or eventually been picked up by a speculator once the bottom is in. Supply is supply, right? So, is this a good deal? Depends what metrics you're looking at. Let's start with the opportunity costs. Building 2,200 homes and bringing it to market will take 3 to 5 years. And that's if the land is available, plans are ready, and the materials and labor are ready to go. These homes are available now. Will it cost $1.45 billion to build? Let's look at the math. Now, full disclosure, I don't have an engineering degree, so I asked Gemini, because that's where we get all of our authoritative construction estimates in 2026. Don't at me. So what does it cost to build a 300 unit high rise in the Lower Mainland today? The answer it gave me was a median cost of approximately $200 million, which is all depending on the many variables such as the land acquisition costs, hard and soft costs, and many others. That's around $670,000 per home to build. This so-called bailout is going to cost $659,000 per home. So the government saved 11 grand per unit, basically a used Honda Civic per condo. Not nothing, but not exactly the deal of the century either. 2,200 homes being made available in less time than it would take to build and for a lower cost is a good thing. This is something I can accept. Now, here's the part nobody's telling you. Developers are also quietly discounting brand new homes 15 to 20% right now. And that's a window that first-time home buyers in Vancouver hasn't seen in 18 months. So, while everyone's arguing about whether it's a bailout, the quieter story is this. There are motivated developers out there right now, and motivated sellers are willing to give you a great deal. So what does this mean for you in practical terms? If you're a home buyer, this means that the government effectively put a stop to the natural market correction by removing the excess supply. There may be an alternative road to home ownership if this new BC rent-to-own program is rolled out. We'll find out soon enough who may qualify for this program and who will be on the hook, like the rest of us, to cover the bill. Now, by slashing the unsold inventory in half, the road to recovery for the real estate sector has shortened significantly. High inventory was a rare leverage point for buyers in the Vancouver real estate market, which was taken away abruptly. While we currently have 7 months of inventory, by October, when we start to see homes come off the market, we may be down to 2 to 4 months of inventory, which would be the lowest levels in 3 years. Home sales have also been climbing steadily for the past 4 months. In fact, June saw the most sales recorded since October 2024. The steady demand combined with decreasing inventory could potentially spell a reversal in the real estate market, and we could see Vancouver home prices start to climb in late 2026. It may be time to bite the bullet and buy the home you've been wanting before you lose all of your leverage. Now, if you're a home seller, especially a pre-sale holder, this may be good news for you. As mentioned, lower inventory and steady demand eventually means higher prices. However, if this new BC rent-to-own program is widely available, this could actually mean competing with the government for those limited number of home buyers. We'll need to see the details of this program before we hit the panic button. Lastly, let's be honest about the elephant in the room. If you're holding a pre-sale condo in Vancouver and you're worried your developer is one of those ones sitting with unsold inventory, rest assured, this likely doesn't have any effect on you. And if you're just watching the market, this bailout affordable housing rollout tells you that the government now sees oversupply as a real problem. And yes, this includes towers in Coquitlam, Port Moody, and Burnaby. This isn't just a downtown story. Read the signal, not the headlines. Is this the government admitting that the market's softer than they've been letting on? Maybe. I'll let you decide. Use the comments. I actually want to know, are you team let it crash or team take the deal? Drop it below and tell me your target neighborhood, and I'll tell you if the sellers there are moving on price yet. Okay, buyer stuff, seller stuff, done. But you didn't come here for the textbook. You came to hear what I actually think. So here's where I land. And I'll be honest, I actually changed my mind halfway through writing and researching this. Remember when I asked if I thought there was malicious intent? Honestly, no. I think it's just the usual mix of self-interest and good optics. Never attribute to malice what you can attribute to a politician wanting a good photo op. I agree that there is merit in the argument that things could have been allowed to naturally cool even if the developers start to lose money. After all, they have made money hand over fist for 30 years during this boom that we've had here in Vancouver. Losing a bit on this round is just God balancing the books. However, as I have my boots on the ground, I can tell you that the market has been heating up for the past few months. Did the government have some data that they may be withholding from the public to suggest that the bottom is in? Maybe they have plans to lift the foreign buyer ban. Is there some change that is about to be made that will affect home prices, and that this is indeed time to put the package together just so they can make themselves look good? I don't know much about politics, but I know politicians love nothing more than to make themselves look good. It's basically their whole job. That and ribbon cutting. So the bottom line for me is this. From the perspective of making a business deal, this checks all the boxes of a good deal. Sure, you only save $11,000 per home, but that doesn't factor in the time gained back from not having to build it. This also gives the developer some much needed capital to build more rental properties, which were promised during the campaigns. Building more homes employs more people, which pumps more cash back into our economy. I admit, at first, I was furious that our tax dollars were being spent this way. But after further reflection, I'm coming around. I can see how this benefits many people in this country, and I am willing to give them a pass on making this deal. So, bailout or brilliant plan? Honestly, I think it's both. Turns out Dad was wrong. Sometimes you build 4,400 condos nobody wants, and someone else just picks up the tab. Have questions about your specific situation? Your first step is email me at info@happyhomesvancouver.com or send a text message to 778-688-6838, and let's help you get settled into your happy home. If you found this video helpful and want to see more of it, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel or share with a friend so you can help us help more people. In the meantime, if you're holding a pre-sale and that deposit part made your stomach drop, check out our video about what happens if you walk away from a pre-sale contract. I'll have a link for you in the show notes. Again, my name is Simon Liu, here to serve you in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.